My never I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there. I see them yopo.
Greetings to all cherished viewers of PENDREAM TV. You are once again welcome to the channel. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, like and also share for others to watch. Thank you. Today we are discussing a matter on the private membership bill which was sponsored by Suhuyini, and Suhuyini has also added his voice disagreeing to what the president did. Then he chaffed the president by saying he might be a good reader and he doesn't understand what he read or have a time to read to understand what is before him. Without much ado, let's dive into it. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Yeah, Randy, I disagree with the notion that the speaker was unfair to the majority leader yesterday. Unfortunately, I also missed that part of the sitting yesterday. It was quite dramatic watching it being played back.
What's your number?
I have looked at the standing orders, and I think that the speaker was being very professional in his approach. Why? Because if you look at our standing orders, there's provision made for message from the president. And that message from the president, as was delivered yesterday by the speaker, is not subject to commentary. So, for example, when he sends a letter informing Parliament of his absence from the country, members are not allowed to comment on that. It is usually just for the information of the nation through the House. And so, to have allowed the majority leader to make a comment on it, I'm very certain would have prompted a comment from the minority leader, for example. And that would have degenerated into members requesting to make comments on a message from the president, which is irregular as far as the practice of the House is concerned. So, to have denied the majority leader the opportunity to make a comment that had the potential to degenerate and to, introduce an irregularity in the proceedings, in my view, was professional. And let us also understand that even though it's customary for the leader of the House to always be acknowledged by the speaker when he rises or she rises on the feet, it's not a right. It's not a right. And like the Right Honorable Speaker indicated, he's not the first speaker. We have seen many speakers in the past ignore leaders of the House on their feet. And so I don't think the speaker was being unfair at all to the, majority leader. But to the substance of the matter, and I'm happy that the speaker has given the indication that he will pronounce on the message that the president has sent to the House. And at that point, he will allow for contributions from members. I'm happy, and I'm looking forward to his position on the president's approach as far as these bills are concerned. But Randy, I have said many times that our president is a very interesting man. I, in the past, concluded that perhaps he's just a very good speech reader. But he doesn't seem to find the time to commit to what is put on script for him to read so beautifully. And so you find him acting in ways that contradict the things that he says or he reads. And it makes you wonder if he actually understands what he reads. And on this platform, I remember I have had calls to even make reference to his speech when independence was celebrated in Tamale. I think that was in 2018 or so, where he called on Ghanaians to, patronize local tourism, and to take holidays in Ghana. And then he returned to Accra and flew out of the country on leave. And this and many more just makes you wonder if he's just a good speech reader who doesn't take his time to actually comprehend and act in accordance with the speech that he delivers. Look, Randy, on 4th November 2022, the president met with Amnesty International. And in that meeting, he indicated that the repeal of the law that allows for people to be sentenced to death was long overdue, and actually chastised institutions, and I believe at the time he meant Parliament, for frustrating the processes that should lead to the abolishment of the death penalty. It's on tape, it's on record. He said so. And at the CPA recently, the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, which was celebrated in Ghana, the 66th, conference, was in Ghana. In his speech, he was happy that we had gotten to a point where the death penalty had been scrapped from our books. You also just indicated that indeed he signed this into law.
2nd of August.
On the 2nd of August. He signed the bill that was passed by Parliament, only to engage in this somersaulting. And that's why perhaps I agree with Honorable Sosu that this is more political or partisan, not political, because yes, the whole, bill and act, it's a political instrument, but it is partisan. And perhaps the president has just realized, and sometimes it also makes me wonder the kind of president he would have been. He's bad enough, but it makes me wonder how bad he would have been if he still had, hot blood, if he had become president when he was younger. Because for him, everything, it's about political point scoring. It's about we versus them. Because if you agree in substance with what has been done, and you actually signed it, why should it become a problem for you that all of a sudden it has to be introduced by you? So no one else can do what is right if it is not done by you. And Randy, I'm not a lawyer, but thank God the Constitution is written in simple English. If you read the Constitution, Article 106 is very clear on what the president is expected to do when he disagrees with any law or bill that is considered by Parliament. Very clear in what the president is supposed to do. But of more interest to me, and thank God Andrew is here, he can help us. If you look at 106.12, it says the provisions of clauses 7 to 10 of this article shall not apply to a bill certified by the Speaker as a bill to which the provisions of Article 108 of this Constitution apply, and accordingly the President shall give his assent to any such bill when presented for assent. 106.12. Now, cross-reference. What does 108 seek to do? 108 says the Parliament shall not, unless the bill is introduced or the motion is introduced by or on behalf of the President, proceed upon a bill, including an amendment to a bill that in the opinion of the person presiding makes provision for any of the following, and it lists them. Then you have B. Proceed upon a motion including an amendment to a motion the effect of which, in the opinion of the person presiding, will be to make provision for any of the purposes specified in paragraph A of this article. So, what 106.12 says is that when the person presiding declares any bill not to be in contravention of 108, and it is considered by the House, the president shall assent to that bill. And that 7 to 10 does not apply. Lawyer, unless I'm getting the reading wrong.
Okay, so
and I believe I don't, I'm not.
Yes. The 106.7 says, where a bill passed by Parliament is presented to the President for assent, it shall signify within 7 days after the presentation to the Speaker that he assents to the bill or that he refuses to assent to the bill. Unless the bill has been referred by the President to the Council of State and Article 90 of this Constitution. Okay, so that's
106.1.
106 what?
Which one are you reading? 106.7. 106.7. That's what we are reading. Now go and read 106.12.
Yes, it says, so I'm saying that the 12 talks about provisions of clauses 7 to 10.
Yes.
So I've gone to read the 7 to 10. So 7 talks about, so 8 talks about refusal, the 14 days. 9 speaks about Parliament shall consider a bill taking into account the comments made by the President. 10 says where a bill reconsidered under clause 9 of this article is passed by Parliament by resolution supported by votes of no less than 2/3. The members of Parliament, the President shall assent to it within 30 days.
Exactly.
Now, but the 12 says that the provisions of clauses 7 to 10. So the 7, which is where the President has 7 days to 8, where the President can refuse to assent. 9, what Parliament should do in reconsidering such a bill. 10, when it's been reconsidered, the voting quorum and all that. The 12 says that
that will not apply.
The 7 to the 10, including the President's right to refuse assent,
shall not apply.
Shall not apply
to a bill.
To a bill certified by the Speaker as a bill to which the provisions of Article 108 of this Constitution apply. And accordingly, the President shall give his assent to any such bill when presented for assent. So what it means is that because 108 says that it is the Speaker, who makes a determination whether there are financial implications or not. Once in his view, it is not.
It doesn't.
And Parliament has gone through the process. The President cannot exercise
trigger 7 to 10.
Okay, I get the point you're making.
The President cannot trigger 7 to 10. Once the Speaker has decided that the bill does not, constitute a breach of 108, the President has only one option, and that is to sign. That's what my understanding of this provision suggests. And so, if
it lists the 7 to the 10. And the 7 to the 10 speaks to 1, conditions under which the President can refuse to assent. And what the President must do when he refuses to assent. And when the President brings something for reconsideration, what Parliament must go through in reconsidering, that's 7 to the 10.
Absolutely.
However, the 12
says that the 7 to the 10 will not apply if the Speaker has agreed to the bill and says that 108 is met. So I am saying that the Speaker, that's why I am eagerly awaiting the Speaker's position on this matter. Because 108 is actually the responsibility of the Speaker. And we all know what it takes or the procedure to use when you want to challenge the decision of the Speaker. It is clear.
So we are saying that if in the course of the deliberations of the bill, if any member disagreed with the Speaker's position on the 108, that member could have done something at that point. Now, nothing of that happened. And it went through the process.
And once it is passed, the
President cannot exercise
says that the President must sign.
He cannot exercise.
So anybody who now thinks that the Speaker did something untoward can go to the Supreme Court. Anyone who at this point thinks that the Speaker, was wrong in admitting the bill,
the point you're making is that if the President disagrees with what Parliament has done on the basis of the Speaker's decision, even on the basis of the Attorney General's advice.
So, Randy, that is my point.
The 106.12 says that the President cannot exercise 7 to 10.
He cannot. He cannot. So what he has to do is to sign. What I expected the president to have done, I mean, like I said, I'm not a lawyer. It's just my understanding of the language as it is.
Then maybe that explains why the president decided to engage verbally.
I think so. But you see, what he could have done further would have been to perhaps, especially if he chose the route of confronting Parliament, would have been to hold on to the signage and perhaps indicate to his Attorney General to challenge what Parliament did. Because the Supreme Court many times have, pronounced on decisions taken by Parliament to be unconstitutional. So his Attorney General, based on the advice that he sought, could have been directed to go to court to challenge the decision that Parliament has taken. Perhaps while he holds on to his signature. Or he could have still signed it, but still instructed a member of his government or even the Attorney General to challenge that decision. Because we have passed laws that the President has assented to, that the Supreme Court has declared null and void and unconstitutional. And so it doesn't stop. The President is not clothed with the President is not clothed with the authority to determine what is unconstitutional when it comes to what Parliament does. At this stage, it doesn't.
All right.
Interesting. I mean, let the speaker write.
Okay.
And then
we want to read his.
Yes.
And then let's see how the debate would proceed from there. But I don't see anything untoward from my reading of the text of the Constitution and the letter or memo that His Excellency the President has issued, that he's done anything that is not consistent with law.
All right. Okay.
That's the beauty of the law.
Unfortunately, we don't have time. I wanted us to look at the latest expose by Fourth Estate, but we do not have the time.
But you have a resource person here.
Who?
Andrew Ejapame.
Have you watched resource person?
Have you watched the Manasseh?
Well, he's the deputy minister in charge of.
But this is GRA, Ministry of Finance.
Yeah, but upstream oil has been added. So we want to know what assessment was done to,
He wants to
grant this juicy.
Well, I can say to you that, thankfully, some complaint has been made to the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
I think I read something.
Yeah.
And that is what institutions of state are required to do, that when allegations of this nature are leveled, they go into it to investigate and come out with some finding as to whether the allegations are meritorious or otherwise. But speaking for myself, I mean, when I heard the figure, I was alarmed. But then it dawned on me that potentially is very exaggerated.
Yeah.
Because if you do a direct
the basis for the computation.
Yes. Extrapolation of the total oil produced in Ghana and say that because of that, whatever figure that has been agreed is what the consultant or service provider gets. When in fact, the revenue to the state is only about 45% or so of that oil that is produced, because there's cost oil, which is taken out, and you get some royalties and taxes that amounts to a take of about 45, 50% thereabout. And so then I said to myself that, well, maybe we need to look at the principle that informed the decision to do this revenue assurance. The revenue assurance, Randy, is not new. In my previous life as a lawyer, I did some transactions between the government and private individuals when my good friend was in government. Okay,
I was in the media.
Where you were in the media, but of course you were supporting actively the government of former President Mahama. Okay, and so it's good that these things, when they come up, we allow, because then people's integrity, their reputation is on the line. And many a time when the investigations are done.
Thank you for watching. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so. hit the notification bell, like and also share. Thank you. You can also join the discussion by sending us a voice note on 0277-128-777. Thank you. Or if you want us to meet you one-on-one, you can also do so by sending us notification. Our team will meet you. Thank you.
Dedi kama mamena Pendream TV ase. Na so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Ah nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, Pendream TV.